All right, here we are in another episode of Salient Points. This one's number 81 for September 13, 2022. It's been a couple weeks since we've been back around these ways, so I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I am, Carlos Macias, the master of ceremony. Actually, what's the name this week, Dalan? What's the title you want to give me this week?
Case of the Monday.
Master of Oranges.
Master of Oranges. Okay, I'll take it. I'm Carlos Macias, Master of Oranges this week. We got Dalan Kirkwood up in the mountains. He's eating his vanilla wafers
I'm sorry, I
over
didn't
there.
know how stupid it sounded until you said it.
I'm game. You gotta understand, I'm game. Give me something wacky, and I'm game, Dalan. I don't know what you. I feel like you shouldn't be surprised at this point. Dalan Kirkwood, thank you for joining us, sir. You got the vanilla wafers. Is that who we're being sponsored by this week, Dalan?
That's who it is today. I got my nice little Ziploc bag, so I'm not wrinkling on the.
Okay, there's still a little wrinkle.
Podcast the whole time.
There's still some noise. There's still some noise going on.
I'll let you hear.
I hate you, man. Is it a name brand, or are we talking like from down the street at the ABC Market or something like that?
I don't know. What is Baduco? I can't even pronounce that. Bauducco. Baduco.
I don't know. It sounds interesting. We got Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel as well. Thank you for joining us, sir. You got a nice little situation. I don't know if you want to give him a quick little tour in the video, Luis. I don't know if that's going to mess you up too much.
You can't really appreciate it too much from here, but
I like it, dude. I like it. I see you got your laundry going on over there as well.
The mic is set up here on the bookshelf. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, clever.
Okay, I like that.
He said, "Oh, clever."
Clever.
Hey, what would you do, Dalan, in this situation?
Hey, man, you see what I'm stuck with? I'm in my box.
There you go. We also got Deo Blas as well. Thank you, sir, for joining us this week.
Yeah, glad to be back again. Thank you for giving us the week off on Labor Day.
Sure, no problem.
Oh yeah, thanks, boss.
Sure, no problem. Dale, I hope you have enough juice this week, though. You know, your computer has.
I'm
enough
plugged
juice.
in.
You're plugged in. I'm kind of feeling a little nervous though, because last time it kept us right in line. It kept us moving along. So I don't know if we continue going down that path. I was like, my juice is running out. So that might be, coming up when Dalen's going a little long.
Why you gotta hit me up?
I know what I said. So first of all, as we start every podcast, we got Jet as a commenter this past week. We got two comments, but we'll start off with one. His first comment on YouTube. We got comms.com. Go to YouTube, click subscribe, like all that stuff, and you get featured on here. But Jet, he did say this turtle has no master. Now, I know everyone was like, what's that about? And I'm surprised because I actually remember the lore, Dalan, but he's talking about last week you called me Turtle Master. And I guess he's saying he has no masters. So, all right, Jet. But what am I this week? A master of oranges, right? So,
yes.
There you go. Luis,
the citrus is strong with this one.
Okay. There you go. Luis, any thoughts on this man, Jet, on his comment?
This man.
I just appreciate him, keeping it lively, keeping it wacky, giving us a little. It's almost like we have a zinger at the beginning of the show, at the top of the show. So. Appreciate it.
All right, they appreciate it. We got another one though to kind of start us off on the show. But Deo did put the bat signal out. I asked him to put the bat signal out because he's the one. He's the most. I think he engages the most, and the Twitter Nation has got the best voice out there. But you said this man, this next man, Deo. So you can.
Yeah.
His name is at fucking Scuba. It's an IN, not with no G. Scuba. He said most played games this year so far. Also, top 3 bathroom used in y'all's life. That's interesting. On the bathroom side of things, I don't know, man. I try to avoid like public restrooms for the most part. Sometimes you gotta use them. Dale, what are your thoughts here on this man's query?
Well, I'm glad that this guy's my cousin, and I'm glad that he participated in the little questionnaire thing that we got going. Because I think it was like 30 minutes before this thing was even started. He replied to this thing, right? So yeah, I'm glad that he did this. So thanks, fucking Scuba.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable. It's as far as this question goes, the most egg games I've played this year. I haven't played too many games this year, but I remember
I just had 9 months. That's the time it takes to incubate a baby. What are you doing?
I'm doing this thing.
For 9 months straight. It's taking 9 months to move.
But I didn't start anything that I knew that I didn't want to play off, so I can't really comment on that. For the bathroom thing, the nicest bathroom I have ever been inside is at a hotel in Las Vegas. It's at the Aria Hotel, and they have like a Japanese toilet and everything, and it's like one of the nicest, like literally the nicest, like the toilet greets you like, hello, welcome to the bathroom.
There you go, the toilet at the Aria.
That's like very nice to me.
Dalan, you any top bat? I know top 3 is a lot though. This
I
man,
can't think of any other.
No, he's wilding out. It's just let's keep it a 1 or most game, Dalan. Let's keep it a 1 or the other. I like it though. I appreciate his participation, but he's wild.
The quick bathroom one. My uncle had basically a mansion out in Oklahoma, and he had a nice ass bathroom. But in regards to most games, I actually was gonna say that one. I can't. There was an Indian game that we tried to play before it left Game Pass. I can't remember what it was called suddenly, but then I remembered I just got through playing Mario Strikers, and I played it for about 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, that was fun. But I'm sending it back. I sent it back already. I had it for like.
I have it. I know that was one of the things I kept it. It was a cool enough game. I gotta learn it though. I gotta learn it. Luis, ad game or top bathroom that you've ever been in your life, apparently.
I'll go with the game because I can't think of any bathrooms at all. Actually, I guess my bathroom experience just is subpar compared to the 3. But most egg game, unfortunately, would have to be Horizon Forbidden West that I played this year.
Ooh, I heard. I hear that.
Yeah, I told you it's that back-to-back gameplay.
Well, I mean, no, because I played the first one years ago. You're the one that's back to back and out here.
I thought you recently played the original.
No, I played it when it came out, man.
That was Carlos, right?
Mm-hmm. I've been working through it.
But yeah, it's a visually stunning, beautiful game. The DualSense works great on it, but the story just still hasn't captured me yet for some reason. So I find myself struggling to like want to keep going back to the game.
You're not the only one. I hear that a lot. Like on like Twitter or whatever. That is.
Hey, I started a file. I think I made it to the bottom of the bridge. That was it.
There you go. I was just playing it. I'll talk about it a little bit more on what you've been playing. So quick teaser for Scuba. Stick around, Scuba, for the end of the show. Saints Row 2022, man. That game is very very so skip it. If you guys can avoid it, please do. I played it for a little bit. I beat the campaign and I sent it back. It's gone. It's back to GameFly. Wow. I'll talk about it a little bit more, I guess, at the what you've been playing. That's a little teaser. Another quick Scuba question. Favorite form of potato? I don't have one, but I kind of try to stay away from the starchiness of potatoes. I'll eat them if they're there, but I try to stay away from them. Dale, favorite form of
potato? Rice.
Rice, potatoes.
Yeah. What do you think, Dale? What's your favorite,
I have 2 favorites. I didn't know which one to choose, but like I wrote down scalloped potatoes. I really like scalloped potatoes. And like really close next to that is like garlic fries. Like that's really close to me.
There you go.
Yeah, I will go out of my way. I'll go and pay extra money at like a ballpark for really good garlic fries if I could get some.
Luis, favorite form of potato?
Yeah, there's some good. Not that this is my answer, but there's some good like garlic fries at the Lexus Club.
This is what you do, Dale, by the way.
So, yeah, no.
That's what you do.
I would have.
He said this is what you do in the middle of Luis doing it, but that's fine.
Specifically, I would go with Shakey's potato wedges, not the type of potato, but Shakey's potato wedges, all day, any day.
Hey, I'll give you that.
Wedges are good.
Those are the top tier potatoes right there.
All right, there you go. The next thing on here, everybody said no. I'm sorry, Scuba, but the next one is, oh wait, also, what would you eat from a game? The last thing I thought about, we were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dalan, that you could choose whether it's a big old piece of chicken or whatever, and I switched over to a big old
bucket of chicken.
Yeah, there's a big old bucket of chicken that you could choose. I went for the ramen bowl, the big old ramen bowl that you could choose. And Teenage Mutant, is it? No, was it that, or what was the game we were playing? Or Rage?
It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Where they let you choose your item or whatever, or was it?
I let you choose what the item was that fell out.
Okay, it wasn't that other game. What was the other game we were playing? Rage.
Oh, you're right. It was.
Streets of Rage.
God, it was
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage
4.
That's the one. I picked a big piece of like ramen bowl. That was my decision. You guys, anything from a game real quick before we move on? No, it was like,
No, I got nothing.
So, hey, I'd take that Katsukuri from Final Fantasy 15. Like, that guy knew how to cook. I don't remember his name right now, but that guy knew how to cook.
Just from the look, huh? We also did get another one from @DocDrowsy. He said, "What's the most recent game that made you rage quit?" I gotta think about that one. I don't know. A lot of stuff makes me rage quit. And I gotta like send it back. It's usually GameFly.
It's like I rage quit just on general purpose.
And I'm gonna send it back real quick. So I gotta come back to you on that one, Doc Drowsy. But
actually,
go ahead.
I'm gonna give you this one simply because Jet hit me up about it previously about trying to play Marvel's Capcom Infinite or whatever. The homie came over this weekend. Our homie Alan, he came over, and he got Alan to play Marvel's Capcom Infinite. I rage quit on that game before it even got put into the system.
Okay, reasonable. I don't even need it in this. Deo, you can think of one?
Yeah, well, this is for what you've been playing section 2, but I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo 7, and like the way that the rules are set up for the cars when you play online against people is kind of bullshit because there's like barely any penalties for jackassery on that thing. So I was in the lead for like one of these races that takes about like 25 minutes. So it's like 12 laps around one of these rings. And I had like a good 3-second lead, and this guy just totally T-boned me at a corner. and I spun out, and I couldn't get back into the race. I was probably about 7th. Yeah. And like I wanted to stand on top of my controller so bad. And like on my PlayStation 5 controller, I was so mad. So it wasn't particularly the game, but the set of rules. And the people.
Well, does Gran Turismo 7 have the 24-hour races still?
No, not yet.
You said not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Well, there was those
that's
games.
Gonna be pain in the ass.
Those were the game, the like 24-hour Le Mans. I think that was on Dreamcast, right? Like 24-hour Le Mans, where it's like legit. You can sit here for 24 hours. But I think that's one of the innovations that Forza came up with too, right? With the rewind feature, right? But I don't think you can do that in multiplayer. Can you do that?
In multiplayer, you can't do that. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's not enabled for that type of thing. But if you're doing single player thing, you have to have something like that for 24 hours. It's brutal.
Yeah, so otherwise in multiplayer you still kind of get screwed over, right? I got to think about it. Go ahead, Dalan.
I remember I played Gran Turismo, I think it was 2 or 3, and they had a 24-hour race in it, but you could set your car to do auto drive after you've done laps.
Yeah.
And it will do what you did last lap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we get into the main headline of the show, it's been a little while. We're getting into it. It's interesting. We're getting some comments in here. The one from Jet, real quick, he said, Dalan, get a second job so you can drive halfway across California to play Deo's Steam Deck. What do you have to say to this man, Dalan, that you need to get a second job to get yourself out there?
You know what? I will. Dale, get ready.
All right.
Okay. It's
You're welcome. There's a couch right there.
There you go. As soon as he gets him out of those little boxes that are hanging around.
Any of y'all are welcome, man. You guys come over here. We have beers and stuff. We do this live.
I said, I'll invite you over here. Help me unpack. It's fine. Come on over.
You have a truck by any chance?
You guys, I will put you guys to work. All right, so we're going to make it to Deo's next week. I guess it's been decided. We'll get into the headline.
We all share one Steam Deck.
That's not happening. Not this weekend.
We'll get into the headline this week. Splatoon 3 sells all the copies. It's Japan's biggest launch of all time. I'm assuming like Nintendo, right? Or it's pretty big. Deo did the math on Twitter. He put Splatoon 3, and you put little water emojis on there, Dale. So that's cute. It sold 3.45 million units in 3 days. That's 799 copies per second. That's insane. Now, did you do the math yourself? Did you go through all the seconds? Okay. So,
I did.
Now, Dale,
I don't believe it. It's like crazy how fast that. I only know like one person that plays Splatoon in real life. Yeah. So I like, who are these?
You mean Carlos?
I'm catching up. I am a Splatoon player up to about a week and a half ago when I pulled out the Wii U version because I'm crazy like that. And I'm like, let me play through 1, and then I'm playing through 2, so I'm nowhere close to playing 3. But I mean, we've seen bigger numbers, right? Eld Ring, shout out to Jet out there. Eld Ring sold a buttload of copies, and Modern Warfare, Call of Duty sells like 10 million in a day or whatever. But it's kind of crazy when you think they're just talking about Japan, so I can't imagine the rest of the world, man. The US, and we love our shooters. I know it's a cutesy third-person-y type of shooter, but we love our shooters. So the fact that in Japan, a land of how many people? Not too many, right? And I think they play less. I hope you like that, Dalan.
The land of not too many.
And look, Japan plays less and less console games too, right? It's not the biggest market for sure, right?
125 million people.
There you go. See, if not too many.
I was about to look it
third.
up too. I was like, we better look that up before we get stupid on it.
But I mean, the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say here is that I think they have moved into mobile gaming a lot, way more than we have, and we have a lot of mobile gamers here as well, like across the world, right? It's just crazy. So the fact that they sold 3.45 million units is congratulations, Nintendo, and it does prove that it's like, dude, Splatoon is kind of big, it's kind of huge. Deo, some anything else besides that?
I'm impressed that a Japanese shooter is doing so well, because Japan isn't well known for having a lot of like shooting type of games, like a multiplayer setting type anyway. Yeah. So I'm happy for Nintendo. At the same time, I'm like super skeptical, because I'm like blown away by just how many people are actually playing. Are they playing this game, or are they just buying the game just because it's a first party game? I don't know. But hey, congratulations to the Splatoon team and whatnot.
Luis, your thoughts, man, on Splatoon just selling all the copies, Splatoon 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I read it, I didn't know that was Japan specifically, but then also on top of that, that doesn't count. Nintendo doesn't count eShop sales, right? So there's no telling what the actual number is. It could be bigger than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Splatoon, I feel like since the Wii U, it's had a console attach rate that's pretty high, and it kind of just low key flies under the radar. Like it's not like a huge game, but I think it does have a pretty high attach rate to the console. I'll get it when I feel like paying for Nintendo Switch Online again, because they're ripping me off. But we'll see. I'll check it out.
Yeah, and
I appreciate this down review. You look like you're about to interrogate.
I like. You know what? And Luis, I think you do have a good point, man. As far as the attach rate is the fact that it was a big game for the Wii U, and I think it's been big enough for Nintendo. It's like, you know what? We're busting these out, because I think the original was maybe 2015. And then the next one was when the Switch came out, within a year it was out, I believe. And then now a couple years later, it's like, here's another one. Please to have more. Please to have more. So it's got to be something for Nintendo. It's just doing gangbusters over there.
It's a unique game for their portfolio. In terms of esports, they're not that big. So this is a huge deal for them. I feel like.
And it plays really well, man. And like I said, I'll talk about it a little bit more on what you've been playing. Another little teaser. But it plays really well. It's a nice third-person shooter, and it's gotten better. I got into Splatoon 2 now, and I can't imagine what they did with 3, which is apparently it's kind of more the same as what a lot of people are saying online as far as the reviews are concerned. But it's people want it. I did ask my brother Jonathan for his impressions. Like, hey, man, we're gonna record today. Give me some thoughts on it. His only statement was, "It's litty." So that's my brother's impressions of Splatoon
enough
3.
Said.
So I guess enough said. A couple things from the last week. One of the big things was that there was a Ubisoft Forward 2022 showcase. They showed off. It was mainly a bunch of Assassin's Creed stuff. The big thing, of course, was this Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is going to be a Baghdad entry, and it's going to be a sort of a tribute to the original game. Dalan, you have some thoughts on this? Did you get to see some of the footage of it, or?
I did actually get to see the trailer for it, and that was the main thing that they showed. And if it's like an homage to the very first game, I think that's awesome. But my biggest problem with the Assassin's Creed series, or at least for me, is that even though I enjoy the fact that they really focus on trying to implement history into their video games, is I used to enjoy the free running that they had. But then somewhere along the way, I think it was right after Brotherhood, I think they hit Assassin's Creed 3, maybe Black Flag. They were like, you know what? We're not even going to worry about the free running anymore. We're just going to be like, all right, you could climb, good enough. You could swing a blade, good enough. But then I was like, all right, where's the stealth and where is the free running and the nice tricks of flipping over the fence when you're running at full speed? Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
but they
was it still there?
Now I'm just running through a desert and riding a horse.
Do you feel like they didn't evolve it? Is what you're saying, or you feel they literally took it out, it just wasn't there anymore?
They literally took it out. Okay. They took some of the free running stuff that you would see in Prince of Persia, and they just let's strip it away.
You know it's not coming out, right?
Hey, Prince of Persia is so much better.
It's not coming out, Dayla.
I know. No, it's not. It's not that it's not coming out. I will still give it hope. It definitely.
Oh, it was coming out until a point where they says don't even get your hopes up. We are not at this point. we are not telling you anything, so please just walk away.
Anyways,
from us now.
For Assassin's Creed, at the very least, I was a little sad that they took away a lot of the running aspects that came with the game. There was even a point where there was a whole little cutscene where you actually took a shortcut through a building, and they took that out.
Yeah. So maybe
what do you think about this game, though? Because you said a lot about a lot of old Assassin's Creed.
Well, just looking at it, I feel like it's going to end up being the same thing.
All right.
So now, I'm hoping that they actually bring some of that back. They didn't actually mention exactly what they're going to put into the game.
Is it going to be like 130 hours long or something too?
Probably. It's Assassin's Creed.
We know that to be true, Dale. We know that to be true. Without knowing it to be true, it's true. But you know what? I'm hoping it's a little different, Dale. So they did announce a Codename Red, which is basically like their game that everyone's been asking for. It's going to be set in Japan, right? They didn't show us a lot. I don't think they showed us anything really, but I'm kind of excited for that. I've been wanting to. Why not, right? Why not have it set in Japan? But what do you think, Dan? You think they're going to give us a... Do you believe in this? Are they gonna?
I had the same complaint when I saw Assassin's Creed China, or at least that little triple pack they had. It was like China, Russia. I think we talked about this before. Is I wanted it to be a full 3D game, and if they said it in Japan, that's fine with me. It's still that Asian heritage that they're actually bringing into it, and if it's a full world like all the other games, I'm set.
You don't want them to give you Sub-Zero.
Even if they don't have the free running, even though it's Japan, they better have ninjas. I mean, come on.
You don't want them to give you Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero is what you're saying.
I don't want them to give me Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, and I don't want a rehash of what was the Shaolin Brothers or whatever.
No, hey, that one was actually pretty good. That was
I
actually
want a rehash of it.
Wait, no. There was one that was crappy, and then there was another one that was like co-op. The PS2 co-op one was actually
the co-op one was excellent. The Sub-Zero one, not so great.
Don't be over here blaspheming games that don't deserve the blaspheming.
I didn't say blaspheming it. I just don't want a rehash. Okay, come on.
So the next thing on here, there was a Disney 23. Is that what it's called? D23. They do this kind of event in Anaheim. It's sort of like a Comic-Con, but for Disney stuff. But there was some things that came out of it as far as gaming is concerned. Amy Hennig's game got revealed a little bit more. We didn't get too much, but we know that's going to be a Captain America game crossed with Black Panther, and it's kind of set during the World War II era. It's going to be in the vein of Uncharted, but more quote-unquote inviting to play, which to me it's weird. I was like, I feel like Uncharted was very inviting to play. But they're bringing the smoke, so I like it. And even though it's sort of a team-up type of game, there's going to be no co-op, which is a little weird, right? You would think Captain America crossed with Black Panther, all of that. But we'll go to Luis first. Luis, what do you think, man? It's Amy Hennig, dude. We love our Naughty Dog on this podcast, right? Even though it didn't get Game of the Year. Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
but, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, she's involved with narrative and story, right? So she's not a game director or anything. There's no telling what the actual game is going to be. Like, we can trust and have faith that maybe at least the story will be pretty good. Yeah. But we still don't really know what this game will be until we like kind of get our hands on it or see more stuff about it. I'm hopeful, but for me, any game that has anything to do with Marvel has been pretty subpar. So we'll see what happens here.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man's been good. They've had some.
That is an exception. That is an exception.
Okay, exception of the rule.
Because Sony is messing with that one.
Yeah, I'll take. And this is like Skydance Media or something like that. So it's definitely not a proven studio yet, right? So we'll see.
Skydance Media. Where have you been? You know what?
Is it not? Is it not that? I think it is. I think it's Skydance Media. I mean, if you can look it up, Dalan, please.
No, I mean, like, they have not proven themselves.
How did they prove
Carlos,
themselves?
You need to look up some cinema that Skydance has done.
Yeah, but that's cinema.
Favorite Skydance game.
Yeah, but Skydance game. All right. Don't be questioning me on here, Dan. We're on wax over here. We got special guest Deo, and you're over here questioning me and shit. You know.
I will immediately question you, Dale. Question him.
Shoot.
Okay, Dalan, what's your statement on Amy Hennig's game? All right, that they've proven themselves apparently. Skydance.
Luis kind of took the statement away from it. Is that I've had the issue of disliking most of the Marvel games that have actually dropped. So aside from Spider-Man, because it was actually basically led by Sony, I'm not even sure if this is going to be good. I mean, we saw what happened with Avengers. I think it was Avengers. What was the name of that last one that came out? Ooh. The one that nobody played, and it came out for free at some point.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
The one before that. The one before
Avengers.
Avengers. which was kind of decent. I feel like it was decent. Yes, it wasn't incredible.
It was so
not
decent that it came out for free and people still didn't play it.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff comes out for free. I mean, Uncharted has been free, quote unquote free. You know.
Yeah, but it went from money to free, and people still didn't play it.
Okay, well that's fair. That's a salient point. That's a salient point. Even
that's
free.
Very salient point.
Yeah, even free people are like, no, please take.
I
that
mean,
away
we
from
even
me.
went to play H1Z1, and that game crashed itself.
We didn't know any
this
better.
Game...
We didn't know any better, man. That's before we knew about Warzone or whatever. We didn't know. We didn't know PUBG. We weren't playing PUBG. We weren't doing none of that. So H1Z1 will take it.
We knew though.
H1Z1 will take
we knew.
it. Next. The next thing, of course, real quick, Marvel's Midnight Suns comes out December 2nd, 2022. That's supposed to be kind of an XCOM-ish type of game. I think it got delayed, though. I thought it was supposed to come out a little earlier, but now we have an official date, 12/2/22. Next thing also is a Marvel World of Heroes. That's a Pokemon Go game by Niantic. I thought you'd be kind of sort of interested, Luis, or no, this is just mainly Pokemon. That's why you mess with Pokemon Go. You don't care about every AR game by Niantic necessarily.
No, and most people don't actually. I actually didn't realize that I thought you just meant it wasn't the style of, not that it is the same.
Oh, it is Niantic. Yeah, it's Niantic.
Because they actually canceled a handful of projects recently, like 3 or 4. So I'm surprised that they're releasing this, because every single other app that they've developed that has the same style, except for the first one, because that came out before Pokemon Go, but they've all failed. They've actually shut down a few of them, and then one of them that just came out, the Pikmin version, is like, I haven't heard much about it, but I don't expect that one to last very long. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing there, but okay. If they got the money, then
yeah, I was just gonna say they got some Marvel and Disney money, right? They're like, this is what we're doing, we're spending it. We're spending it. We're making this game. The other thing, and maybe Dalan has a quick comment on this, but there's going to be a 4-player co-op platformer. It's called Disney Illusion, and Disney Illusion Island is going to be a Switch exclusive. It looks kind of cool. But Dalan, did you get kind of a chance to look at that? I guess it's.
I did, and I hate the animation. There's actually a Mickey Mouse TV show that's on Disney Plus right now. I guess it was on the Disney Channel at some point, but who has cable these days? But I actually hated looking at the animation for it. If they had chosen like some more classic animation, I'd be more for it. I'm feeling like Luis does when he looks at Borderlands. I'm like, nah, I can't. I just can't
that's kind of that aversion that like makes you nauseous a little bit to even think of it. Okay, there you go. Well,
like, I can barely watch that cartoon, but I have it in the form of a video game. Can't do it.
Okay, got you. There we go. We're gonna move on to quick hits here. There's gonna be a Nintendo Direct, and that's confirmed for basically today. When you're hearing this podcast, it will have already aired. But we did hear in the last couple weeks that there might be a Zelda blowout, potentially Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and maybe a Metroid Prime remaster. We will know this by the time you're listening to this. I think they might have released it. They might have talked about it. Dale, whether they did or not today, talk about this. What do you think using that perspective, I guess?
I'm expecting Zelda, because like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are the last of the some of the last exclusive titles to move over from the Wii U onto the Switch. And since the Switch is like mega popular, it's like a home run for Nintendo if they release them. People like, how many people bought the Mario 3D All Stars, that collection that just came out?
Yeah, I think it was like 9 million copies, and yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I did.
Man.
Still got wrapped in plastic because at some point you're not going to be able to get a physical copy of it.
Hey, which Nintendo are a bunch of assholes, man, because they kept they kept messing with this. Like,
we're going to release the game.
We will not release this anymore. It's going back into the vault. Going back into that Disney vault, into the same
thanks,
vault.
Disney.
To the same vault Disney uses. That's where Nintendo was threatening us with, like, it's going back into the vault, and people were like, "There's plenty of copies here." Like, but
you can go buy them at Best Buy.
You could just go to Best Buy, and we have like 20 copies now. But okay, so Zelda, yes, I agree with you on that.
I'm expecting Zelda, and I'll be happy if they just have that. What I really want to see is Metroid 4, like anything about that game. Please.
Just anything.
Yeah.
Anything. God damn.
Vaporware, man. Vaporware, dude. Like, we're not seeing that game land on our Switch. That little cartridge that you can't, don't lick it, because it's nasty. That little cartridge will not be in our Switch game until like 26, man. 2026 at the earliest, man. But yes,
that's my pipe dream. That's my pipe dream,
right? Like,
there.
give us something, right? As far as Metroid is concerned,
it's indefinitely delayed.
Dalan, knowing that we've been either proven right because we recorded this yesterday, or proven correct, what do you think, man? Did we see today a Twilight Princess, Wind Waker kind of stuff for Metroid Prime at the Nintendo Direct?
You know, after announcing that it hasn't been announced yet, I'm not going to actually project on that at all.
Okay.
But I do hope that they actually do re-release these games, maybe in better graphics. And I mean, even closer to Breath of the Wild graphics. I would love for them to remake the graphics of the original games and re-release it, because I still know people that didn't touch Legend of Zelda simply because it was too old for them and they didn't have systems at the time.
Yeah,
that sucks.
They're not doing that, Dalan. Nintendo would have announced, they're like, here's a clean up version.
They're just gonna generally release it. I know, but it would be more awesome if they upped the graphics.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what they announced. I guess I will look like a fool when they say we're doing a complete remake from the ground up of Twilight. Twilight Princess, don't do it though. That's not. It's an okay game,
Twilight
but
Princess
it
is
wasn't
unnecessary. All the other ones before
Wind
that,
Waker.
they definitely should.
Wind Waker, maybe they announced
Prime.
a sequel, but at the very least, I would think at least a cleaned up version of the Wii U version, because they already cleaned up that game once. They're just gonna slap it together like they did all these Wii U games that no one bought because no one bought the Wii U, and they're like slapped up edition. They're like, here you go, Switch. Switch people.
Well, the other thing I was gonna say is I hope they do the Metroid Prime remaster as a collection, because I'd love to see 1, 2, and 3 all be able to actually be remastered and played again. Because for one, I got pretty far in Metroid Prime 1 and never beat it. And then you were over here who blew through every single Metroid game in existence just to play Metroid Dread.
The 2D ones. I played through all the 2D ones, yeah.
But yeah, I'm down to replay Metroid Prime, especially if they fix some of the controls.
You might be onto something, Dan, because they already did come out with the trilogy version on the Wii. Was it
exactly?
Yeah, so I think it would just be a matter of like slapping it together, and here you go. We're on the
fixing
Switch
the
now.
controls here.
Well,
they have a picture of the Wii box onto like a Switch box.
Yeah.
It's just best of Metroid.
Weren't they nasty with that at some point, like the Wii U or something?
For the Castlevania,
Castlevania
series, they literally took a picture of like the Game Boy Advance Castlevania box, and then they put it on the Wii box as the cover art. It's ridiculous.
So nasty. Expect that, please.
And I gotta save money somewhere. This is Nintendo. They're penny pinching.
Well, and with
Metroid,
with Metroid Prime 3, they had waggle controls too, which I think that was part of. You said I played all the Metroid Primes, Dalan. I haven't played 3. I got it though. I got Wii U's out of the box right now. So,
I got it though.
I think
that was Echoes, right?
I think
was
that
Echoes?
was 2 was Echoes, and then 3.
2 was Echoes.
Which 2 Echoes was a little wacky because it basically did the Far Cry 2 thing. It's like, you have malaria now. Swim in the middle of the ocean and die because you didn't get to your medication in time. So 2 was a little wacky with the corruption stuff. 3, I think it was the waggle controls that kind of didn't. I was like, I don't want to play it anymore. But if
it didn't land,
there you go. The next thing on here will. Well, this is just for me, I guess. But Retro Studios did. They never released the unreleased Zelda project, so they were working on one. It was supposed to be a Sheik game with the darker tone, and it relayed the origins of the Master Sword. I mainly like that one of the Retro Studios programmers said at no point was it really anything like Zelda. It was an experiment gone wrong that happened to be set in the Zelda universe, which makes me a little sad because to me, Retro Studios made one of the best games ever made in Metroid Prime, and for me to realize they don't have the magic touch. They were like literally working on a Zelda thing. It's like, this is trash. Let's put this away.
Well, you could say it was a Zelda thing, but it wasn't really a Zelda thing. It was a Shake thing. The whole Shakes and their race and how they died and the origins of the Master Sword. So
was it Shakes?
This was actually
was it Shakes?
Shakes.
I think it's Shakes. I'm just wondering.
I'm pretty sure it's Shakes. But they were the Shakas. Sorry, the Shakas. But this was actually this came up once before last year when one of the original designers for the game went back through some of his old files and actually found some of the original concept art that ended up on the internet. He actually put it up on there, and that's when people started finding out about the game, and it just became this whole thing. And then Nintendo was like, take it down.
I say do. As Nintendo.
Nintendo's like, you've been served.
But sorry, Luis is a little low. I don't know if you guys hear him a little.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Luis. What were you saying there?
No, I said, but did he get sued or whatever? Like the
he didn't get sued.
Of GTA did.
No, he just had to put out a quick apology, and that was kind of the end of that for him. But the internet was just flooded with information about this new Sheikah game that never came to be. They were talking about how it was in pre-production and it never got past pre-production.
Yeah.
So
so we'll move on from that one. But please, Matthew, can you please get us the proper pronunciation? Is it Sheikah, Sheik, or what is it? Please, Matthew, we need you to investigate this for us. So we'll find that out. The next thing out here, not to be outdone, PlayStation actually came out. It's like, we have a state of play. So that's coming up later today. So I feel like we could make some predictions on that one and safely be like, did we get it right or not? But I like how they tweeted at Nintendo after Nintendo confirmed their Nintendo Direct. That PlayStation just said big day tomorrow, along with the little eye emojis. So they're working on a state of play. They're gonna have new reveals and updates for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PSVR 2. It's supposed to be a 20-minute show. Dale, you kind of hyped for this, for the little state of play that we're getting later today?
Yeah, kind of hyped, kind of shocked. If it's only 20 minutes, the only thing I'm really expecting out of the show is God of War, because that's like their biggest, bookend game that they have for the end of the year. So they should be pushing God of War Ragnarok to its teeth, and I don't know if we'll see anything else really. I don't know. Maybe some couple indie games or something.
New reveals and updates, so I think we should at least, they can't be lying to us.
I'm sure they'll try and milk Call of Duty with that.
Oh yeah, like the beta comes out I think this week for PlayStation.
I'm sure we'll get some of that.
So yeah, and it's like they paid for the 1 week exclusivity for the beta ahead of everyone else. So
before Microsoft just buys up all that exclusivity, right?
That's true. That's true.
Luis, what are your thoughts, man? What do you think Sony's got for us later today?
Yeah, with 20. Don't be afraid to turn me up on your Discord, Carlos. But with 20 minutes, I don't know what we're really gonna get aside from God of War. Maybe like an official reveal of the hardware of the PSVR 2. Okay. But yeah, I just want them to reveal some PS5 exclusive, not PS5 and PS4. I want a PS5 full on. Show me the next gen. Like, let me see what you can do, right? So that's what I want. So show me one game. Yeah, that's it.
So we'll see. That's up later today. If you guys are listening to us in the morning time, make sure to tune in for that. Next thing we have on here, speaking of Call of Duty and kind of all that exclusivity talk, Microsoft has responded saying that it will never take Call of Duty exclusive. Brad Smith from Microsoft said, "We've said we are committed to making the same game available on the same day on both Xbox and PlayStation. We want people to have more access to games, not less." And of course, PlayStation responded as well. They said, the games are gonna be on PlayStation for at least several more years beyond the existing deal. But Jim Ryan, the PlayStation CEO, said to GamesIndustry.biz, he said, "Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle." And of course, these guys are trying to not let that deal go through, right? Because that's kind of a contested thing. I think it probably is gonna go through, right? But they're definitely, Sony is trying to push back as much as possible for Microsoft to not get that Activision deal across, right? But Dalan, what are your thoughts here, man? Do you think Microsoft's kind of playing games too, right? They're like, you know what? Yeah, of course you can have Call of Duty for 3 years.
Hey, Sony's been playing games from the get-go. I mean, we still remember what happened with Rocket League and Fortnite and PUBG, how you couldn't actually do cross-play. They were like, nah, they'll buy it on our system. We don't care. Now, when the shoe is on the other foot, they're like, no, don't take it away from us. We need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Microsoft should just trigger compensation. That's what they should do.
That's really all
Hey, they should just keep gaslighting Sony until the last day, and then right before it expires, it's like, all right, fine, we'll renew the contract.
No, I mean that's what they're doing though. That's ultimately they just want this deal to go through, Dalan. That's really all Microsoft is being nice. Once the ink dries, on the piece of paper, is like, man, fuck all y'all. Oh, we have all the exclusives. No more beta for PlayStation. You can have the game. It's $70. It's a $70 cross-buy, cross-gen edition, whatever. $70. Why don't you just get it on Game Pass on our system? That's really what's ultimately gonna happen, right? Dale, what do you think, man?
It's so stupid, but I think Microsoft should really take COD as an exclusive, like for real. Like it's so stupid that like all these like PlayStation crazy fanboys like talk all this like, oh, you got to share with us, and yet they have like Final Fantasy remake, 7 remake. Yeah. They have the new Final Fantasy coming out, and all these other deals that are super exclusive to them. So why can't Microsoft do it? So it's like Jim Ryan to me is super hilarious and like almost comedic because of his reaction to it. Like he's like surprised, like, oh my god, this is business. I can't believe they did this to me. Like, it's like crazy. Yeah. I was like, yeah. So be prepared, Jim. Like just be really prepared for what Microsoft wants to do, because they dumped a hell of a lot of money in that.
And also, I think there's some honesty to and Microsoft brings it up all the time. I brought it up on the show before too. But they did buy Minecraft at a time, and that's still on everything. You can play it on every single thing. So why would they miss out on the money to like we'll keep releasing it on PlayStation, but let's not be foolish enough to think that it's on Game Pass for quote unquote free. You pay for the subscription, of course, but we're gonna have all the exclusives, the betas, everything. The DLC comes to us first, and it's like, of course that would happen. But why would they also miss out on the $70 from gamers on the other side, right? So I think there's some honesty, but of course, like Dalan was saying, gaslighting them all the way to the very end. And, to the very end, the ink dries, and then they're like, okay, this is what's up now. This is what's going to happen now. Okay, I'm the captain now.
But the thing is, like, Call of Duty, I'm the captain now. Captain Price. I'm the Captain Price now. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Call of Duty is, like, enormous. So, like, that is, like, if they could get a lot more exclusivity. Like, I remember back in the 360 days when they had Modern Warfare, like, exclusive DLC maps, or they had GTA 4 like exclusive DLC content for their platform first year or first 6 months or something. Yeah. Like that was a huge deal, and that like set like in the mindset of a lot of gamers like, oh, I should probably prioritize Xbox 360 first instead of PlayStation 3 for this stuff.
I don't know if that part is such a good idea, simply because I remember what happened with Tomb Raider. Because I believe it was exclusive on the PlayStation for a year. It was exclusive on the Xbox. I can't remember what system it was, but I know they put it on one system for a whole year, and then everybody waited for it to come out on the other system. Like, I don't care about that.
But that's Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. Call of Duty is way bigger. Like, it's so much more money.
Yeah. Call of Duty is magnitudes like bigger than that, man. It's huge.
I love Tomb Raider, but it doesn't make as much of an impact as Call of Duty.
Yeah, and it's kind of what you were saying, right? People will like, wait, it's on Game Pass, and I don't know if I would assume they might even do the DLC as well, right? If with Game Pass you get the game, the DLC, it's exclusive. Why not? So of course you're gonna be like, wait, I just go there. I'll just go to that place.
Or they will offer it like what happened with Forza Horizon 5 is that like you could play the game for free on Game Pass, and then they give you like a discount for the DLC, so it's almost like half off. So like, why wouldn't you just pay like a really like subsidized version of like your payment for this same experience on this other system? Like, why wouldn't
and
you?
At some point you will stop playing this game and it will be removed from this service.
Well, I mean, not on Game Pass. I mean, if they own the
company, you are still renting the games no matter what
you are. But you don't pull off Halo off of it. You don't pull off your first party stuff off of there, right? Like that stays there time immemorial. Until they need for the time that they have Xbox, it will always be there, right? You don't pull off your first party stuff. But Luis, any more thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, I don't believe that they will ever make it completely 100% Xbox exclusive. I mean, Phil Spencer said himself, I believe it was him a few weeks ago, that, and I think this is a crazy thought that he had, but he said that Call of Duty is not an essential franchise or something like that. I think that was his wording. And
which
it's
is
like,
super
you have
wacky.
to be crazy to think that. Yeah. But his point being was that he's like, it's not essential enough for us to want to like not have it cross-platform? Like, why would we make it exclusive? So basically that's what it was.
That Minecraft money's too much, man.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like just the magnitude. Like, why would you not want that money, right? It's at this point, and they're playing a different game, right? They're playing the subscription game. Yeah, and they're gonna sell it to you on PlayStation for $70, and the DLC is full price. And yeah, bring them along. We'll do some crossplay also. So it's
bring them along.
Bring them along. So I feel like for Call of Duty, sure. For campaign narrative games, like they're already gonna do it with what is it? Is it called Starship or whatever, the Bethesda game? Starfield. Of course that's exclusive to Xbox. Of course it is. Why would it not be exclusive, right? So I feel like as far as anything narrative and like single player based, of course it's exclusive. But Call of Duty, you want everybody.
But what about Elder Scrolls? That's gonna shoot a lot of people in the foot.
Elder Scrolls? Well, no, that's gonna be multi-platform. I feel like that's a good point, Dale. That's a good little statement. But I feel like that's multi-platform, dude. They will keep selling it to you, man. We're on like the 13th edition of Elder Scrolls, so yeah, they want it on everything. They'll put it on your phone.
The 13th edition of Skyrim, specifically.
Skyrim, yes, of Skyrim. They will. They even said, right, we will keep feeding it to you. This one's just for Dale probably, and a little bit for me, but I think for Dale mostly. Bonnie Ross is leaving 343 Industries due to a quote-unquote family emergency, which is, it's a legit thing. People leave, but I feel like she's leaving the company though, right? It's not just I'm gonna deal with this family emergency. It's more like family emergency, and I'm out. I'm just, I'm gonna close the door
Life
behind
has
me.
gotten in the way.
Which, wish her the best. Not to try to make light of that, of course, but it's kind of a. Is it that big of a deal, Dale, that Bonnie Ross is leaving 343?
I think so. I hope her family's doing okay, and I hope that whatever she has to set time for is okay, and she'll get through it or whatever. But at the same time, like, it was a really good time for her to get out.
Because 343 is taking all the flack and all the shit right now because they need to fix Halo and they don't know how.
Exactly. I don't know what they've been doing they twiddling their thumbs for like 9 months, but she's so far above in management that I don't think she really affects day-to-day kind of stuff anymore. Yeah. So it's okay to have another creative take that role. And from what I hear, the person that's replacing her is the guy that made the turnaround for the Halo Master Chief Collection. So he's the one that brought it from some shit state to the best state it's ever been. Yeah. So I'm glad about that. But at the same time, hey, congratulations on her 15 years at 343. I hope she retires
you wish her the best. But it is, it's sort of a little she's like, you know what? I got this thing. Like I said, we're not trying to make light of it, right? She had a family emergency, as she put it. But it's also like, you know what? I don't want to come back to this either. When I'm done, when that's resolved, I will leave this behind. But yeah, she's been part of the team for a long time, right? She might have even been with Bungie, or at least in Microsoft, and then kind of put in place at 343. So she's been a part of the franchise for a long time. Close to probably the beginning of it, right? But wish her the best, and it's kind of some leadership changes. And also,
Bonnie
Halo
Ross, you will be missed.
There you go. And as far as Halo Infinite is concerned, we do have some more news. The Forge mode is going to drop November 8th, 2022. But some of the bigger stuff, which is cool. Forge mode, I think I saw you on Twitter talking about it, Dale, that you're like, this is going to be my life. I don't know if you said it. I'm paraphrasing. But you said you're going to be in Forge mode when that drops.
He said basically.
Basically. But a couple things, though, that split screen co-op is canceled, which is kind of funny because Twitter Nation was up in armor against but you said, and for once I kind of agree with them. It was really but you said, because they make a big deal out of was it Halo 5 that didn't have split screen co-op, and they're like, where is it? And they came out and said we will forevermore have a split screen co-op on every game that comes out. And they're like, you know what, let's just back up on that.
They're gonna do it at the end of the Halo cycle. Watch, we're gonna be mad.
Split screen co-op is canceled. Of course, they didn't say online co-op is canceled, because I think that's still gonna be the way the game.
That will still be a part, a game feature.
It's really cool. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it needed as far as the open world nature of the game. It kind of could use some co-op, online co-op. And the next season is delayed as well. But Dale, are you more excited about the fact that we're getting Forge mode soon? Or it's what the F? Or a little bit of both. Maybe you got some bittersweet emotions over there that you're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed by the roadmap and the content rollout for Halo Infinite. It's not enough, what they've been doing. And especially, I get that this is their first games as a service kind of game, but at the same time, I'm just it all their moves that they've gone through, it's just like less and less features for like a game that you like was barely even like launchable to begin with. So it's like we've been playing like an alpha version of this game for almost a year now,
Yeah.
and I don't know. The expectation, yes, the expectation of a Halo title is very high, and it should always be. It should be Microsoft's priority, and same thing with 343i. But but the Forge looks amazing. That's the one that will make or break this game.
Yeah, which look, to me, honestly, I mean, if we go back to our Game of the Year episode, it was my number 2 game of the year, dude. Like, to me, it lived up to expectations. Of course, I understand that other people had all these kind of inflated expectations, which is, as a fan, you got a right to that. But I think this was Halo realized, Halo Combat Evolved realized to me. So. But it does suck. But to be honest, I beat it back then. I'll go back when they do some online co-op, and if I see some cool stuff coming out of Forge mode, I'll dip in there. Especially if you're gonna be living there now, Deo. I'll go visit you sometime. But other than that, it's kind of like I'm waiting for the online co-op as well, right? And then
I'll build a hut for you and like a sniper hut for you.
Everyone is welcome.
Hang out there.
Dalan, what are your thoughts, man? Before we move on to the next thing.
It was a little sad to know that they actually canceled the split screen co-op because basically I wanted to be able to play with some friends here at the house, but now I can't do that unless they also have an Xbox, and we will have to play it online in the next room and still on headsets. I still remember how fun it was to do couch co-op. I mean, that was just a huge thing for me, and with no longer having games with split co-op or split screens co-op, then it really separates people. Even though online is supposed to bring people together, you still never see anybody.
Well, I mean, we're seeing each other right now, though, Dalan. I mean, if
I'm not really seeing you. I'm seeing you through the lens of the electricity that travels between your computer and mine.
Okay, do I even exist right now? Do I even exist?
Philosophical.
I know you're not real.
You could change your background at any time. If you want to be, you could be in Tahiti right now. You can have a man falling off a ladder in Luis's background. I know what happens.
I know what happens.
But in real life, it's different to actually have that tangible closeness to people, and it's just we're in an era right now, especially due to COVID, where we take it for granted.
Yeah, I mean, look, your neighbors or your roommates, just grab them a speaker, Dalan, aka Xbox Series S, and then you guys can kind of play together that way, right? The next thing we have on here is we did get an announcement to Cyberpunk 2077. They're gonna do their first expansion. Phantom Liberty is releasing in 2023. Keanu Reeves is returning. It's gonna be for PC and new gen only. It's the only planned expansion. I know they kind of came out and says like we're still supporting this series and all that. But I think it's, they didn't say it's not the only planned expansion. What I feel like they're saying is like, okay, here you go, expansion, and then we'll come back to this at some point. I'm assuming. I don't know if that's kind of what you guys got from that. But Dale, what are your thoughts on the Phantom Liberty expansion?
I'm excited for it. I'm finally I beat Cyberpunk and I was like, this is actually a really fun game. It isn't the mind-bending like genre-bending game it was promised to be, but it was still really, really fun. The world is super unique, and I hope they continue it in some other fashion because there's no other game that feels like that has that gritty feel of Cyberpunk.
Are you excited about the Netflix series? I think it's up today.
That's the one I'm most excited about. The anime. Yeah, I'm totally watching the anime. Studio Trigger is like one of the best anime studios right now. So it's hands down. Their animation is so gorgeous. Did you ever watch the Star Wars? What is it called?
Carlos, you did watch the Star Wars thing, like the 10 episode Star Wars thing, where it was like the Animatrix, but Star Wars.
By watching, do you mean I watched the first episode and I fell asleep? Is that what you mean by watching?
You fell asleep the first one?
I was asleep, man. No, maybe like the second or third episode. I was like, my brain was like, the animation was beautiful. No, the animation was beautiful.
That was so sick.
The animation was beautiful.
But that's,
I think it's just
yeah. That wasn't Studio Trigger though. I think it's the 4th episode is which Studio Trigger does. But the way that they do animation is just beautiful. Like Kill la Kill, beautiful. Like that.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm in the same boat. Like the game and the reviews on We Got Comms, of course, but I thought it was a good game. It was very much in the vein of like Outer Worlds for me, not Outer Wilds, Dalan, Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know you appreciate that kind of distinction, Dalan. But it's a Western RPG style game, of course, with guns. So very Fallout-ish in a way. But it was my game. It was definitely my type of game. But even so, it did crash all the time. The cars were flying around all over the place. So that's still true, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. And I'm looking forward to this expansion, man. I'm down to. I did platinum the game, so I'm ready. I'm ready to dip back in. Dalan, what about you, man? You're dipping back into this game for Phantom Liberty?
Well, I got a couple other games I got to get through, but I am glad that they are expanding the game and they're actually still working on it. They got to a point where people can go play the game and say, like, this isn't a terrible game. They're finally at that point because I still remember when, obviously, I still remember when it launched. It was just the biggest kerfuffle. I think most people remember when it launched, especially companies trying to release games nowadays, which is why we still have all these delays because nobody wants to come out with a broken game no more. And I still remember, oh man, I can't remember the name of that game that you guys like to play. It was a space game where you actually try to get to the center of the universe. What was the name of that game?
Are you sure we like to play? Are you talking about No Man's Sky, Dalan?
No Man's Sky.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
You played that game all the way through last I checked, Carl.
Nah, man. I was like, get this out of here. Sean Murray. Still beefing with you, man. Still beefing with you. Next time I see Sean Murray, it's like, dude, stop telling people this is like an incredible game when it's made by 10 people, which is, it's fine for 10 people. But he was hyping it up for sure. Anyways, what's going on with Phantom Liberty,
and my point being is that they beefed it up to the my point is they beefed it up to the point where it was actually a playable game. And I'm glad that Cyberpunk got to that point. Hopefully they don't get their source code jacked again. But you know,
okay, Dalan, you know that's probably a sore spot for them, right? Like they got their ransom. They have to buy the code back, and you're over here just making light of it. That's fine. That's fine. Hopefully their code doesn't get hijacked again. Also, for the next person we're going to talk to, the next team over here, the next supermassive game will be the quote-unquote equivalent in size to the Quarry. It's going to be another horror game dropping in 2025, 2026. I know we talked about it. We did our first third-person type of review that I've kind of been always wanting to do at We.comms. I just transcribed you guys. It's tough to transcribe, just so you guys know. But we did get that up there. I'm kind of excited for it. I guess we can't be as hyped as we were for the Quarry because we know it's like one person plays and then the other people just watch and vote, right? But Luis, what do you think of the next game that's equivalent in size to the Quarry?
That's kind of where it's worrisome for me, unless hopefully the lessons learned from the Quarry allow them to iterate and speed up development that will allow them to concentrate on, you know, true co-op or something like that, because I feel like that's why they had to scale back a bit, because it's so many different endings and possibilities and interactions that they probably didn't have enough time to like actually realize a co-op mode. At the very least, hopefully, if they still just have the voting system, maybe they have an option where you could like hand off control to somebody else that's playing with you, so it's not only like one person, you know. But yeah, I'm excited for whatever they do, man. I'm down.
Well, and at the very least, it's like we know now if they're gonna do this foolishness, it's like it's voting the game. It's like play it single player, and then you know, grab a few drinks or whatever and play it that way. Because we were definitely trying to play through it like in party mode, and nah, man, you got to play that game by yourself first and enjoy it that way. Because it is a great game, dude. The quips are there. It's wacky. It's my style of wacky. Especially if you guys like Detroit and all that other stuff. It's up there, man. It's pretty damn good. It's a damn good game. Unfortunately, the multiplayer aspect is not as fully realized as we would like, of course. The next thing we have on here is the Callisto Protocol director has kind of got himself into some hot water. One of the first tweets he put out there that kind of got him into the said hot water was, quote, "I only talk about the game during an event. We are working 6-7 days a week. Nobody's forcing us. Exhaustion, tired, COVID, but we're working. Bugs, glitches, perf fixes, one last pass through audio, 12, 15-hour days. This is gaming, hard work, lunch, dinner, working. You do it because you love it." And of course, the internet was all up in an uproar. It's like, what? You're happy about people crunching and about doing all these things? So, of course, being the internet, the apology came. I think within a day or a couple of days later, he said, quote, Anyone who knows me knows how passionate I am about the people I work with. Earlier, I tweeted how proud I was of the effort and hours the team was putting in. That was wrong. We value passion and creativity, not long hours. I'm sorry to the team for coming across like this. And, it's Glenn Schofield, the director of Callisto Protocol. Luis, we will go to you, man. I know you're currently in between jobs, we will say. But, so I don't know if what's your perspective on this? I'm sure, would you like to be in crunch mode, even if that's what it took? Or you could kind of like, I don't want to live that way. As far as like,
no, I haven't done crunch in more than 3 years, and I don't miss it one single bit. So whatever job I do, I hope that it continues to be like that. But I do just like the jarring distinction between the two, like, tweets or whatever. Yeah. Like the other one's super wacky, like using the letter R instead of the word
we're doing
R,
everything. We're crunching. We're doing it. Yeah.
Like through spelled like drive through, and then the next one is like the apologies, like perfect, like punctuation and grammar, like we are sorry that we did this.
Someone wrote a statement for him.
The corporate response.
Yeah. I like the last part of it. The last part of the first one, Lise, is you, the letter U. You do it because ya love it. LUV, because you love it. But because there's different camps about this, and I kind of can sort of appreciate, like, some people are like, look, you grind at a job you enjoy and you kind of live that way, but the thing is, it's kind of like tempting to be like, well, the boss is gonna see I don't work that hard, right? So now you have a whole culture of like, damn, I gotta work the 12 hours because otherwise I won't get promoted, I won't get the raise, I won't get like the praise or whatever it is, right? So it does create this kind of culture of like, damn, I gotta work these hours, right? And I think you've mentioned it before on the podcast, Luis, right? But sometimes it comes down to like a production schedule and kind of getting that together. But
no, crunch is 100% always a production problem. They just didn't plan well enough. But that's kind of how it always happens. If truly the team, including himself, are working these long hours, 6 days a week, back to back, 12, 14-hour shifts or whatever, eating at their desk, getting their meals delivered, because I'm sure that's what's happening to them. Happening to me. Yeah. If they're truly doing it because they love it, then good on them. I've been there before, where you keep working because you want to keep working.
Yeah.
But after a while, it does turn into peer pressure, where you see like you're packing up your bag, you're heading home, and then you see the lights are shut off and everyone's still working. You're like, am I really going to be the only one going home right now? Well, maybe there's something I could work on.
Yeah. And for me, I'd be like, yes, I'm going home.
It's indirect peer pressure.
Yeah.
So maybe it is different with the remote work, because that's what Striking Distance is doing right now. It's remote. Or I don't know, maybe they're getting people back in the office now.
Yeah.
But I hope that they're all doing it because they want to, not because they're being forced to or peer pressured in any way. But it's rough, dude.
Yeah, Dalan, what do you think, man? Is it kind of the same thing as like this guy was super wacky, and then here comes the corporate speak?
Well, you can definitely notice that between the two tweets, but for me, it just seems like a very unintentional consequence, because he was really just trying to talk up his team, and he was trying to show his appreciation for the extra work that that people are doing. And again, in his tweet, he specifically says, nobody's forcing us. But nobody cared about that particular part of the sentence. Everybody's like, everything else, exhaustion, tired, COVID, still 12 hours. Like, they don't have to be working for 12 hours, but it's not even really him that's creating that culture in that case. It is just his statement.
Well, he's the director, Dalan. He's the director of the game. So.
I'm not, like I said, unintentional consequence. Because it's something he's putting out. He's thinking that this is an awesome statement. I'm talking up my team, and then everybody on the team is like, "Nah, we're gonna make this worse than what it is."
Nah, man.
So we're gonna look at each other and be like, "Hell no, I'm not gonna let you one up me." And it turns into an internal problem rather than a top person problem.
But
that top person's gonna look down and be like, "Damn, I can't let this go on." So he had to apologize.
That's pretty insightful, man. I can imagine like the team internally was like, "No, get Jason Schreier on the phone. Look at this man. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. Look at this man.
Hey,
look at this man. What he's doing.
Don't open that wound. Dale's been recently blocked right now.
Yeah.
Wait, you got wait. Dale, you got blocked by somebody? Jason
I got blocked by Jason.
What the hell, Jason?
Schreier.
What's going on, man?
Because it's just an unintentional consequence.
He made a stupid joke about the death of the queen, and I was just we called him out on it, and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna remember that joke when you die. Just let you know." And then he blocked me like straight up 2 seconds later.
That was, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I don't know if you put that. Did you put that out there that he blocked you or something? I didn't know that. Okay.
Did you sound joking when you did you seem joking?
Oh hell no.
It? No, he's just I'm straight up saying no. We're gonna remember that shit.
I will say so. That's a little wacky. I'll say that, but at least there's like a direct line of consequence to that. I've been blocked by like guys from like Ars Technica and Polygon, people I never interacted with, and they have like a blacklist or something, dude. Like,
really?
Yeah, they have like they've never interacted with them, never said
That's
like
so
not
weird.
word on Twitter, and they're like automatically blocked.
I don't know.
This is a list of people at least this one is like.
Alice, man.
This one,
hey,
this
people of the internet, watch out for unintentional consequences. Choose
Unintentional.
your words on Twitter.
Unintentional consequences.
Unintentional consequences. Watch out for salient points.
Hey, whoever blocked me though, I never see their work anywhere. I feel a little bit bad because Jason Schreier, as much as we disagree with him, he has legitimate like reporting or whatever, you know. So I kind of feel bad.
But he has like such soft skin that he just decided, I don't want to listen to someone telling me I'm gonna die.
Especially you're saying something a little crazy, like on his end, he's saying something as much as he wants it to be a joke and blah blah blah.
He made fun of the Dreamcast and of the Queen. You don't do that to me. So come on, you're gonna get shit back. Don't expect anything
the
back.
Dreamcast came first.
Yeah, that was yeah, but
you're gonna get stuff back.
Like I said, at least there's like sort of, as you know, that's a little wacky right there. But at least there's like a direct like interaction. Those like shadow bans or whatever kind of crap.
There's a point. There was a point for a while I don't know why you got banned.
Yeah, like I've never interacted with any. Good thing is they're not good enough to like ever show up on my feed or whatever. Because Jason Schreier, I'm sure will show up on your feed, you know, alternatively or whatever. But Jason Schreier, you're such a wacky guy. Next thing on here is we have Last of Us Part 1 Firefly Edition is turning up damage, and Sony is saying they are not going to be providing replacements. So I like Sony said no, keep it, enjoy these damaged products, which is kind of wacky. You would have thought they would have maybe like tested it, right? It's like, okay, here's the packaging, let's test it. But apparently from what I understand, maybe they were doing like some sort of like bubble wrap type of nonsense, which of course is going to get broken or whatever. They don't even put it in a box. But we'll go to Luis. Did you have a quick thought on this, I guess, as far as like kind of this fiasco?
Yeah, I suppose. So I mean, it is interesting that they did put in some sort of like bubble wrapped envelope versus an actual like package. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, from what I've been seeing, the damaged part is like the packaging. Like, it's the box for the game, like box set or whatever. It's not actually like the stuff inside of there.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, I understand that there's collectors out there that like to keep
everything
in perfect condition. I know.
See, Dale's like, it's very important, all right?
But it's a fucking box at the end of the day.
Look, Luis, I get that, but I feel like there's people in here, Dalan, maybe Dale, but for sure Dalan, they won't even take it out of the box, man. So the fact that the box has to be pristine. I don't necessarily agree, right, Luis?
Because I'm like your box back there. Look at Reggie Jackson.
Oh, look at I don't know where he is. Reggie. But anyways, like we know Reggie out here. But there's I think people have a point. I feel you, Luis. You know, we keep it wacky around here, right? But I do feel like you pay a couple $100 for this thing, and it's like it's all dented up and stuff, right? It's kind of like Sony. And then not only that, but they have the audacity to be like, shit out of luck, man. Should have thought about that. Should have thought about that next time. So, Dale,
you should get a refund from what's their name? CD Project Red, dude. Tell them to give him a refund.
Give him a little refund. Or from what's the guy that they were using, the marketing guy, Butler, or what's his name? the funny guy or whatever for PlayStation or whatever. Ask that guy for a refund. But Deo, what's up, man? What do you think about this here? I hope you didn't order this and get yours damaged, Dale.
I tried. I really tried. That's like at first I convinced myself not to go buy it because like Last of Us isn't even my favorite franchise. But like I want to see like all the new improvements to it because like Last of Us Part 2 was like graphically amazing and the animations are incredible. And if you apply it to like, in my opinion, the better game, like I would totally play something like that. I won't pay like $70 for it, or $100. I think the big that special edition one's like $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so special condition, don't worry.
Yeah. So I'd be pissed if I wanted like $100, if I'm paying $100 for like the perfect version of like possibly your favorite game and it came out damaged like that.
That's true.
Like I had the Judgment Steelbook from Best Buy, or Lost Judgment Steelbook from Best Buy when that game launched, and it was broken in half. And I asked Best Buy, and I was like, hey, like, I even went on Twitter and, like, shouted out to them, like, hey, like, can I get a replacement? What could you do for me? And they're like, oh, yeah, we're just going to send you one, like, right away. Easy. Yeah. With PlayStation, like, if they're telling them no, that's kind of, like, a slap in the face to the fans, man. Yeah, because they really love that franchise.
Especially because there's a couple of things, right?
Like, no, go buy another copy.
Well, right, and yeah. I think for this is especially like...
Yeah, they're sold out, though.
For this is especially egregious because, first of all, it's like you've played this game, of course. You know, we've talked about it before on the podcast. They did it from the ground up. Luis doesn't like to call it a cash grab. Me and Dalan love to call it a cash grab, but whatever. Anyways, like the ultimate like new thing that people are like, damn, I love part 1, right? I want this like collection or special edition or whatever, so it should be kind of pristine, right? But I think the second thing is like I think Sony made a production run of it and they're like, it's out. Like we are not, you know, because I think some of these probably they have to make it in batches, right? It's not just we'll make you one or a few for the people that are damaged. They probably have to do a whole production run or whatever it is. So now they're kind of like, you know, no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, which I don't know. It doesn't make any sense that they went with that kind of packaging to begin with either. Because I bought the Forbidden West, the Horizon Forbidden West like special edition, not the fancy big old box with the statue or anything, just a regular one, and that came with like a really good like cardboard box and like an inset lay-in for like the physical game and like an art book in it. They should have gone with that. If they gave like some shitty like paper covering that is like a slip cover. Yeah, it's not worth $90 in my opinion for something like that.
Yeah. So there it is. Sony, we'll see what they do, but they're definitely like they're losing Call of Duty, and now they're shipping crappy boxes across the country. So Sony, you got to get your crap together, man. Next thing we have on here is SNK producer Yasuki Oda. He says both sides are interested in reviving SNK versus Capcom. He says especially after we saw the reaction to the Evo posters, it helped us reconfirm that this is probably one of the most wanted things from the fighting game community across the entire world. And I know, Dalan, I know before you said, I feel you on this, man. You want an EO edition of it, easy operation edition of the next SNK versus Capcom. So I feel you on that. I mean, we could petition for it for sure, Dalan. But what do you think?
That said, I fucking hate you. The EO edition is easy operations edition. I hate that so much. But either way, people seem to forget that there is a difference between SNK versus Capcom and Capcom versus SNK. There is actually a difference.
I can hear it. I can hear the difference. I heard it for sure.
Well, the problem is the quality of game that came out of it. Obviously, if they make another installment of Capcom versus SNK, it's gonna sell pretty much as well as it's like making a Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Hopefully, it comes out better than Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but the fact is, it's like announcing the next installment. Everybody's been waiting for it for years. It has not come to pass. Now they may actually move forward.
I like how you winced at the camera too, Dalan. When you looked at the camera, you looked at us a little mad. I don't like it, but I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't worry about this. But there was another version of the game that came in. It was SNK versus Capcom Chaos, and it was it was a significantly less performing game. And it felt way more broken, a whole bunch of frame rate drops.
Was that the latest one? Is that the latest one that they did, Dylan? That one, the Chaos
No,
one,
it came out around the same time as Capcom versus SNK 2.
That was like 2005.
Okay. It came out around the same. I think Capcom versus SNK 2 was 2004. Either way it goes, they came out near each other, and Capcom versus SNK 2 was significantly better. It was just smoother, had better characters. Nobody knew who Yosuke was until that game came out. But it was an awesome game. Then SNK versus Capcom came out, and it was an arcade, and I was like, who the hell is playing this game? This game is terrible. I went online to see who was playing it. Like 7 people were playing it. But
so, look, as far as Dalan's concerned, I hope they do an easy operation version of the game.
I hate you so much.
Dale, you're looking forward to another SNK versus Capcom?
Yeah, specifically like how Dalan is.
Decide your words, Carlos. I'm gonna hit you up about that.
Yeah, if they have Capcom versus SNK 3, that would be pretty sick. If they have, because like another reason why I feel like SVC Chaos was kind of bunk was like the artwork wasn't as vibrant and as fun as Capcom versus SNK. And like they didn't have like the groove system. It was broken, dude. Like, and after coming from Capcom versus SNK and then moving on to SVC Chaos, like you're like, why would you even want to play that SNK version of that game? You just want to play these, and has a better roster for the characters anyway. So, like, that's what you really want.
So that's kind of a sad way to say that. It's saying that SNK tried to make a game and it was terrible, and then Capcom tried to remake the same game and it freaking blew up.
It definitely helped in Capcom's favor to like sell that game instead of SNK's. Although they kind of, because of that, I feel like SNK is still around. Mainly because like people were exposed to that in the beginning, who've never played SNK games before, and so like it helped with the the profile of SNK characters.
Well, Fatal Fury was big in itself. I mean, that was one of the original like tournament things.
Final Fight.
Yeah.
Fury.
There you go. One of those, but look,
wait, I think
for
Final Fight was Street Fighter, but
for sure, 50%,
oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
50% of Salient Points is very hyped for this game, so it's coming out. And for Dana's purposes, make sure to make the easy operation version. The next thing we have on here is.
I hate you.
Dalan just either evolved or devolved. One of the two things just happened.
I hate you so much.
Hey, don't tap, or is it you have to tap A, Luis, to not evolve your Pokemon? Like it's like no, tap A, or don't tap.
We didn't know where that evolution was going. Take that turn off the watch.
Don't
Whatever form of evolution you got, shut down the Digimon. Don't do it.
Don't evolve.
Reverse Hulk.
Real quick before we move on to what you've been playing. I think this one's mainly for me and Deo, of course. But the anniversary of the Dreamcast, which got you banned by somebody, or apparently got you blocked or whatever. But the anniversary of the Dreamcast, 99, 23 years of beautifulness. I don't have a Dreamcast hanging around, so I think that's one of my bigger regrets. But to be honest, it's been a while since the Dreamcast. I just wanted to live in my memories, Dale. And when we go to your house, please let me play it, I suppose, when we go next week. But what is, like, the main thing, I suppose, Dale, like, kind of this year? Was there anything a little extra special or anything like that this year around after this system that lived for a year and a half? We're still celebrating 23 years later.
I mean, there's some homebrew that people are still making games for this system, and they sell it, like, there's, like, this New York video game store that they sell like homebrew stuff. Like someone like literally makes the game, burns it onto a disc, and then gives it over to this like New York video game store, and they're like, "Here, can you sell this out to people?" And he does it all the time.
Yeah. Just like the old days. Get the burn disc going.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what you were talking about.
I hate you.
Well, no, I'm just talking about Dreamcast in general, but yeah, I mean,
he didn't know that the 99.99 meant that deal. But look, true Dreamcast gamers
also meant that
we know
because that's also I completely forgot that was the day. Yeah, you knew what I was going to go
talk
for.
About Final Fantasy now, but keep it short.
Final Fantasy. That's all you need.
Right.
Which they give you a free card. I don't know if you retweeted this, Dale, but or somebody did. Maybe Wario did. Wario64 did. Where it was like at $99.99, they were offering a free car if you bought Final Fantasy like 8, or they were doing like a sweepstakes Was it 8 or 9, Dalan, that came out? 9.
It was 8.
8. Yeah, they're doing a sweepstakes for that. I think just a quick thing for me, Deo. Maybe you have another like memory like this, but I remember the Dreamcast. It came out. I hadn't bought it. I think I got it when it was like $50, man. At some point, they were like, let's get these things out of the store. And they were the price of a game, right? Because I remember buying the Dreamcast for $50, and I think Tony Hawk 2 was $60 or $50 or whatever. It was like, all right, that's what I'm doing. But I do remember like going back to EGM days, because that was kind of my favorite magazine. The first EGM magazine I bought was the PlayStation 2 launch edition, and I was like, yeah, I'm excited about the PlayStation 2. I'm ready for this. You know, I'm ready. I want to know what games are coming out. It convinced me to buy a Dreamcast instead. It really, I was like, you know what am I thinking? What am I doing here? Let me buy a Dreamcast. And I got a PS2 eventually, right? But that launch issue, that PS2 launch issue from EGM got me to buy a Dreamcast. But do you have any kind of quick thing like that, Day, or anything like?
That's actually like the same boat with me. I wasn't even really interested in Dreamcasts until like EGM like did all these articles, all these what do you call it, features on it, and like Che Chow and Dan Shu and all those guys were like hyping it up. And it got me like super excited, and that eventually, like, when I finally got to play it, I played it on like a kiosk somewhere, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! Soul Calibur's amazing! Wow, 2K is amazing! Wow, like all this, like Sonic was like incredible," which is kind of
I didn't even like football. I like football now more, but not even the games. I don't really play the football games, but you know, real life, I like watching football. But even then, I remember NFL 2K. I was like, I can play online. I didn't know what I didn't know how you made points in football, and I was still like, but I can play this game, and it was just the funnest thing on that dial-up.
It was like it was that game, and like Phantasy Star Online was sick, and I never played anything like that. Tetris was online. It was crazy.
Dalan, anything before we kind of move on here to what you've been playing?
Well, I was too busy playing Rival Schools during that time because that game was just excellent, and Power Stone 2. I will never let that game die. That game is excellent. They need to remake that, re-release it, and just have it be online so you can play with people. But
they gave it to you on PSP, Dalan. I hope you got it on PSP.
Yeah, but you can't really play it online and with other people very well. It's terrible connectivity.
But you couldn't do it in the original. You couldn't do it in Power
What?
Stone 2.
You could do it locally in the original. You had 4 controller ports.
Couch co-op at its finest.
They didn't cancel it back then. They didn't cancel them back then.
No, they didn't. They might as well have, though, because you could just burn every game and just have it for free. You can rent it from Blockbuster. And
I
keep
will
it forever.
I will say. So Dreamcast was very easy. I think someone made a joke. It was like someone told me about Dreamcast, and it was weird that they all had like someone had like a Sharpie pen, and every game was like this. Every game had like Sharpie, and I was like, because it was very easy for the Dreamcast. It literally was. You had a boot disc. You had a boot disc, right? You put that in, and then you put in a burned copy of whatever game, and that's it. You're playing that game now. But I'm kind of proud of myself, because I think I maybe had like 2 burned games. I think I had Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and maybe something else, but everything else was legit. I took a little pride, and like I have legit copies of it, but that was definitely...
You supported Sega before they almost went under, okay.
They definitely went under, and they were like, we're going to do third party, and we're going to be dealing with Sonic for the next 30 years, so we'll figure that out.
Real quick, the one thing I was actually going to say is, talking about NFL, the only good NFL game that I actually ended up playing was Game Day 98, and that was before Dreamcast.
There you go. When EA,
That was a pretty good one.
Wait, was it EA?
No,
Game Day was who?
No, that was 989.
989 Studio. It was a studio. Yeah, it was a Sony studio, right? Yeah.
Sony Studio.
Game Day 98 was definitely like the top tier football game for me. So I don't care if you could dodge through everybody's tackles and glitch the game out. That's part of what made it fun.
It was like playing Blitz. Like
unlimited spin. You had unlimited spin forever. So we'll move on to, I'm sure we'll bring up the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a beautiful machine. It definitely was. I'm sure we'll talk about Dreamcast some more in the future. We'll have plenty of reasons, I suppose. 23 years later, for the little machine that could. We'll go on to what you've been playing real quick. Luis, you had something, you deleted it, you had it on there, but do you have any,
it came and it went.
I removed it because we are running long.
We are running long.
I can go over it if you want, but initial impressions, start of The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
It's not a cash grab. There you go. That's my initial.
He's like, I'm just gonna make that comment right here.
I did get it through GameFly sent it to me, Luis. So I'm kind of, I should pop it open. But what's the main thing to you? And look, before you even played it, you already knew it was a cash grab, and we I think we gave you half a point on that, right, Dalan? I think we gave him half a point. It's like, okay, it's not necessarily technically a cash grab, but what's the main thing that has stood out to you, Luis? That is like, damn, they did something here. They did something.
That it's a completely remade game. I mean,
Okay.
it's there's portions of it that are different enough that and parts of the environment that I don't know if my memory is like not, if I just don't remember it that way or what, but there's certain sections where I'm like, oh, I could have sworn this was a little bit different. So I feel like they're changing things and modernizing the game a bit, which is why I said it's not a cash grab, because it's not like they just up-res the textures and made it run at 60. Like they completely rebuilt the game. So they're obviously
the only question I have,
and I think you have a 120 option, right, Luis? I think, or no, or they have a VRR and 120 version.
Depending on your display, they give you, I think, 2 options that I saw.
The main question
I'm gonna run it at 120, dude. I know it makes you smoother, but it makes the enemy smoother too. So that's a little concerning. So we'll see.
The only question I have for you is, does Ellie still run out into the middle of all the enemies not being seen?
I just got to her, so I don't know.
Okay.
Spoilers.
You gotta let me know later.
But okay, but you're just having the time of your life, Luis. Is this correct to assume?
That's not what I said.
Oh, okay. I mean, are you just being scared, and that's part of the experience, or what? Then
I just said these were this was supposed to be a 5-second initial impression. Now we're running a 2-hour show here.
It is. We'll keep it brief. But
that's it. That's the tweet.
Okay, all right. I was like, wait. Okay, so he is having the time of your life, as far as I understand. Whether you're being spooked.
I just started the game, so I don't have any. Yeah. It's
okay.
Like, yeah.
All right, got you. Deo, I see you finally platinum Gran Turismo 7. Did that hit? No, you didn't. Or you're working on it. What's going on with Gran Turismo 7 here?
Yeah, well, so I'm trying to platinum both Gran Turismo 7 and I'm trying to 100% Forza Horizon 5, and I'm really close on both. But there are 2 glitches, and one you were helping me out on, Carlos, with trying to figure out how to do it. But
did it help?
One
or no?
I've been trying it every day because I feel like it might be tied to whatever car that I'm using every day. Like I have to smash up a car and then try to fix it. And so the the trophy itself is called like rigidity or something like that. So you have to like upgrade or what do you call it? Like fix the rigidity of your car 10 times, which is easy enough because it's like $10,000 each time. Yeah. But then, or 10,000 credits anyway. And I tried doing it. I've probably done it like 15 times with different vehicles, and it still hasn't popped up. So the trophy's not popping up for me. I have to do more, I guess. I feel like from what you've told me and suggested to me, I should try different cars. So
okay. It's I'm working on one for the Quarry, man. I need one more. But that one trophy is like 5 or 6 hours of my life, man.
Yeah.
And
bullshit.
It's like I did it like once. Yeah, I think I did it like once. I'm like, I just keep putting it off. I think that might be one of those where I'm like, I don't want to. And it's the Butter Pops trophy, Luis. It's the Butter Pops that is like they do a whole little song and jig on there. But I wish you luck on that one. I hope you get it, Dale. One of these days, man. One of these days.
Hopefully.
It's definitely...
you'll hear about it.
All right, we'll hear about it. You mention it to here on the podcast.
He will tweet it immediately.
I'll keep it real brief. I played a couple things. The first thing is I did get around to playing 12 minutes. And by the way, the 12 minutes review is up on WeGotComms. Dale put that review up. Dale's like, did I? You did. It's on there.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah, I quickly remember that game as well, Dale. Very quickly, I'm like, F this. I'm following a guide because I am done. I am done with this. It's very frustrating. A lot of like...
It's annoying.
A lot of the scenes...
There's your rage quit, Carlos.
Oh, there it is. There is the rage. That is... No. But this is the key. I didn't rage quit. I would have rage quit had I been like, all right, let me play legit. But I was like, no, I will not play this legit. And if you
just gave up on it.
Yeah, and if you do it with the guide, it's like a 30, 45-minute game or whatever. It's sort of interesting, but just it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating because you just have to repeat things, and you don't really, you're not giving.
The setup is interesting, but like, the repetition is annoying.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with your review of it. 12 minutes, and I played it because it was leaving Game Pass. So I was like, it took me a year because I think they probably had like a year exclusive. Because I looked on We.com, I was like, oh, he did that review a year ago. And I was like, oh, that probably they had it for a year, right? The rights for a year, and then it was coming out. So I was like, I'll play it. The other thing is, I did get into, like I mentioned earlier, playing through all the Splatoons because my mind is crazy like that. I can't just go into the latest one. So I played Splatoon 1. I just did mainly hero mode. You can't find any matches online for that for Splatoon 1. So good luck finding a match. But it's kind of awesome, man. And it's not the story mode. It's not really a story mode. You could tell maybe it was like an afterthought because they give you like 30 levels or like 27 levels. But the music is awesome. The mechanics are great. The bosses that you go up against, and it's the typical Nintendo thing, right? Hit them 3 times. Hit them 3 times in their crit spot type of thing. But they're so creative, so fun. Like the mechanics are great. And this is Splatoon 1, right? I had to pull out the Wii U for this thing. I'm in Splatoon 2 now, and they've added some mechanics. That's going pretty great. So I'm kind of gonna get through that Splatoon 2 and then go into 3. The one that I did spend some more time with, of course, is Saints Row 2022 edition. I kind of played the third, Saints Row the third or 4, whichever one that was, and that one was like at the extreme of wackiness. That was like Fast and the Furious 5 fulfilled. Like, I don't know, they were trying to make legit serious movies for a time there, Fast and the Furious, and then they went full wacky, and that's when I feel like they kind of got into their own groove. But with Saints Row 2022, they're kind of like wacky, but not too wacky, and I think it works against their favor because they still have wacky stuff. Some of that, like, it's an interesting, like, sort of kind of interesting story of like millennials and like finding their way, and they're trying to get a job, and it's like an origin story, but it never really gels. But there's, the story is cute, as I would call it. The story is cute. They do have burnout mechanics. If you guys remember, like Burnout Paradise, with Paradise, it burned down the franchise lease. I know you disagree, but I feel like Burnout Paradise was not the business. But so they do, like, if you remember Burnout 3 Takedown, I believe, how you could like smash into cars and you kind of throw them off into like the sides of the streets. They do that. That's kind of cool. And the music they have in this game always surprises me. Like, they actually have some legit music on here. They have the vines and I don't know how legit you consider them, right? But they have some kind of like a decent music that you're like, damn, these guys really lent themselves to this wacky style of game. But that Saints Row, I sent it back, and good riddance. Definitely good riddance. I feel like the reviews for this game were spot on. Where it's not a great game. It's not a great game. Dalan, what did you play in the last couple weeks?
Well, I still play Destiny, and very recently I've rediscovered the legendary lost sectors. I didn't know how useful those lost sectors were, but you can run them solo in order to get exotic pieces of gear for your characters. And I would, like, the past 2 weeks, I've actually just been running those like crazy, and I've been trying to get every single piece of gear for all my characters, and I did. I succeeded in that.
And I accomplished just that.
Congratulations.
I accomplished just that.
But you could do it on legendary mode. You just got to do the champion thing, like you got to deal with overload and barrier enemies. But it was still very fun for me to actually do, and it was just challenging enough to do it on legendary mode. Do it on master mode. It's stupid. It is so stupid. You got to be cap level, like all the way, like you better have run dungeons and gotten like the Vex Mytho class and stuff like that. No, I'm not.
And you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't get the rewards like if you have like me with you or something. You have to run them solo to get.
Correct. If you have to run it solo, or else you don't get the chance for exotic gear. So I was running like the same dungeon over and over and over again, or Lost Sector. Sorry, it's not a dungeon. But it didn't take too many runs for me to get all the pieces of gear. But if you're missing any exotic gear for your characters, I strongly advise doing it. It rotates on which piece of armor it does every day. It's either legs, head gear, chest gear, or leg gear. So I do advise it.
That sounds rough.
It's not rough. It's not rough. I ran it for like 30 minutes, and I got like all the pieces of gear for that set that I needed for that character.
There you go.
But then the other game I started playing, because I just randomly decided to start a new game, was NieR Replicant. No, it is not like NieR Automata. You don't have to redo the game multiple times. It is thrown at you immediately. It is not a thing where you do it multiple times. It is just a straight beginning to end game. It's just got a story, but it does have a lot of side quests that it throws at you. Those side quests can actually be very fun, but it's also a game that you could easily critical path, Carlos. Yeah. So you could enjoy that. I do advise playing the game.
As far as the NieR saga, NieR Replicant 32145 saga, I don't want to, man. I just don't. I played through it the first time around, like, and you're like, oh, you didn't even complete it. You didn't play it 10 times. I'm good, Dalan. I am good.
Well, right. This is the prequel to Automata. It's just a remake of the first game.
All right. Well,
it came out PlayStation 3. Is that what it was? And then
I think it was on PC even before that.
Interesting. Well, that's been a show. It's been a show. Salient Points.
Been a show.
Salient Points number 81. Cosmo Seal is the master of oranges. The citrus is strong. Is that what you said, Dan? What did you say earlier? The citrus is strong. Cosmo Seal. Thank you for joining us, of course. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountain. Thank you for coming on board this year's show, Dalan. Mm-hmm.
Unintended consequences.
Why you keep picking on Deo? Deo Blas, thank you for joining us.
I wouldn't even point him out. I didn't even say his name.
You didn't say anything.
I feel like that was a pointed attack. Deo Blas, thank you for joining us, sir. I hope you have a fun experience with those boxes that are going on in the background there. You got something going on, and I hope all your
he's waiting for us to come crash.
And I hope all your future special editions from Sony come unblemished and as perfect condition as possible.
I hope Jason Schreier also unblocks me so I could see his wonderful takes and tweets again.
We'll clip it out. Me and Luis will be like, this is his petition to just unblock the man. I'm
waiting for an apology. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, snaps.
You
reblocked immediately.
We'll cut that out. Yeah, we'll cut that out. We'll cut that part out, and then we'll put this. He's a fine young lad. All right, this Deo Blas. So just stop messing with them over there. Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel. Thank you very much, sir. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, I hope Dalan's favorite fighting game comes out pretty soon.
Yeah, he definitely.
Not EO. Stop it. Stop it. I know it was coming. Go away. Go away.
Dalan's easy operation mode. That's what he wants. All right. Latest.